Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Pocket Change Market Report. I believe this is the first one of the month. We decided to take a little bit of a week off, let the market marinate for a little bit, and then we're back now here. First one in December as the year kind of closes on quite the historic year. Mostly from the U.S. Mint level and then precious metals. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of parity, a lot of storylines heading in to for a lot of us what is going to be probably the most important year in the hobby, 2026, which is the 250th anniversary of our country. The Mint has a lot of things planned, hopefully from the circulation front, the coins that get produced and made for us to spend out there in the world today. Hopefully we're going to see some pretty big stuff. A full redesign suite of all the coins as is anticipated, and it's going to be a pretty big deal as collectors prepare to double down. And they're not waiting for that calendar to flip. Right now, folks are kind of like they're trying to get whatever they can. Lincoln Cents, they're not producing those anymore. So there's a lot of pent-up demand for those coins in all forms, shapes, and sizes. That is made evidently clear into today's video. We're going to see quite a bit of activity from Lincoln Cents. The market is just really active right now. A lot of people coming in and buying up whatever they can while they can. So we're going to share this with you. It's very exciting. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And first of all, Whatnot has been huge. We've just been knocking the socks off. Lots of great stuff. Lincoln Cent original bank wrap rolls have been our hottest seller so far in the last 3 to 4 weeks. As I'm helping you guys along, we're offering the best deals possible. We're starting everything off at $1. And yeah, it's amazing. We might do another one here between now and Christmas. We shall see as the market continues to be very volatile on all Lincoln Cents. There's really no guarantee that we're going to have good, solid inventory heading into 2026. So a lot of people are scrambling to do that. And this platform has been a huge game changer for myself and for a lot of my clients as well. So I personally invite you guys to come on down. We got 2 shows this week that is sure to be exciting. All right. You could scan the QR code on screen, or you could use the links that we have down below provided in the description box and in the comments section of this video. Sign up today. You get $15 off your very first item, which is huge. $15 off that 1 ounce silver round, or $15 off that graded collectible coin. Whatever the case may be, you are going to be saving money right off the rip. So come on, check things out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we are going to dive right into the Pocket Change Market Report for December 6th. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. 1955 Franklin half dollar. There was 5 or 6 of these that sold back to back to back. Not necessarily from the same seller, but there were a number of them available for buy it now. And this is a very cool variety. It is a what they call Bugs Bunny variety, which is simply a die clash of the eagle that you see there on the reverse on the obverse of the coin where Franklin's mouth is. Ironically, our good old boy Benjamin Franklin here has vampire teeth. All right. Now, the common terminology, Bugs Bunny, there are other coins that look more Bugs Bunny-ish with, the buck teeth coming out and less looking like, Bram Stoker's Dracula here. But this is a really cool variety that you can find on a lot of dates of Franklin half dollars. And there are some that are quite a bit more scarce than others. So double check for these. It's going to instantly turn, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, a regular good old silver dollar or silver half dollar that right now in melt value is just over $20. I can't even believe I'm saying that. With silver approaching $60 an ounce, that's really, really driving the prices up all across the board. But varieties to make up some headway here, in your sales and making more money is important. So this one right here, the Bugs Bunny variety, this one's selling for $42.99. The coin looks pretty decent. I'd say it's a low-end BU coin. It's got contact marks. It's not like a super gem compared to some of the other ones I have seen. And, the prices just continue to go up on these the higher the grade level is. Next one that we have here, actually a pretty good deal for someone that scoped this one out. 1972 Lincoln Memorial set. This is a broad strike. So this one, as you can tell, coin is slightly a little bit larger. You could just see the stretch of the rim going, a lot further out than what is normal. And this one right here was struck with the collar completely disengaged. So with that being the case, when the collar is not there to keep the coin within the shape and size tolerances of what it should be, that's going to lead to some crazy strikes. Broad strikes is one of them, off centers, double strikes, things of that nature. The collar plays a pivotal role in the final product of your coinage. And if there's something malfunctioning there, obviously that needs to be fixed. But all the while, it's producing some pretty neat collectible error coins. So this one right here, and I also love the date, by the way, 1972, a date that is famous for a myriad of different double to die varieties. It'd been cool if this one was one of them, but unfortunately not. This one right here is selling for $15, which it was a buy it now hit. Someone jumped on it right away. Could have had a whole lot more room to make money here, possibly like maybe $30 for something like this. It's not the biggest broad strike, but it is a kind of unique date for it too. I don't see too many mint errors on 1972 Lincolns. Cool one here too. I mean, this one small enough that it can be overlooked. 1984 Lincoln Memorial Cent with a cut die break right there over a couple letters of the word trust. All right, so how that happens is a piece of the die had cracked and fallen out just through general wear and tear. The mint presses produce many hundreds of thousands of coins in pretty rapid succession. So with that being the case, there's a lot of strenuous wear and tear on all the moving parts. The dies, of course, are not immune to that kind of wear and tear. And this one is really neat, as small as it is, it's one that we don't see too often. This one, by the way, is selling for $26.32. Pretty good. The larger the cuts are, the more money that you're going to receive for them. 1960, Denver Lincoln Memorial Cent, a marquee date for variety hunters. There are dozens of Repunched mint marks for this particular date, and that kind of makes it a nice little treasure trove of activity for this date. Now, obviously, this one is the large date. That's the one that you want to kind of like look through. It's the best date, bar none, for varieties. This one right here is a D over D Repunched mint mark. The seller did not specify what catalog number this one is, whether it's like a RPM 5 or RPM 15 or whatever. But this one you can pretty easily see the secondary Denver mint mark is punched west of the primary here on this one. Selling for $24.32. RPMs have been ticking up quite a bit lately here with the increased demand of Lincoln cents all around. We also have this 1930S Buffalo Nickel. Now, Buffalo Nickels are very common for laminations, and that's what we have here on this one. You can see the streak of lamination going through the Indian's cheek and into the hair. Not the most dramatic. I have seen way more crazier laminations. The annealing was just terrible on Buffalo Nickels. And you can even say that even Jefferson Nickels, the start of it going into the war nickel kind of dates, all suffering the same fate as well. Just super high heat, impurities in the alloy mix, all of these things kind of exacerbating the quality of the coins, which was not very good. So this one here is selling for $31.90. A huge kind of surprise and shock to me. A 30S is not quite like a tough date. You can find one. This one, by the way, looks to be like a VF 20, 25. That in itself puts it about a $3 to $4 coin. The lamination, very minor, someone must really wanted this one and paid all the money in the world for it. And here's another one to keep a lookout for, especially after you see the results of the sale of this coin, the 1925 Philly peace dollar. All it has is a shallow disc clip right there between the INB and Liberty. If you look at the front of the coin, look at the top, because the coin has a little rotation in the images here. That, my friends, is what sold this coin, pretty simple. And we've seen a fair amount of clips on larger dollar coins, and they seem to be doing okay. This one, however, might change your mind a little bit. The coin is actually in nice shape. It's about AU condition, I would say. Does have a little circulation, but it does have luster and some of the original crusty toning that accompanies it. This one selling for $139.95. Keeping in mind that melt value on these is right around, $40 or something like that. Even these common date, I guess you could say piece of Morgan dollars, are starting to drift upwards too. The rising tide bringing up all the ships collectively, and it's crazy. These are beginning to look a lot less affordable. But if you're able to say buy one of these for $40, recognize the error that maybe a dealer had overlooked, turn around, sell it, 3x your money. That's a pretty good deal right there. This one right here didn't quite really stump me, but it might have stumped our seller here. They had guessed that this is a 1990s Lincoln Memorial Cent. Pretty easy to see. They had put this one as a die trial strike, also a die adjustment strike. So the Mint employees were kind of calibrating the pressurization of the strike. So they would strike a few of them, kind of like micro adjust the pressure to get the desired strike. They have been known to take some of these die adjustment strike coins and just, pass them through into the mint bags and the sorting process. Where normally they don't do that at all. They usually keep these and destroy them and all that. But my only problem is with this one, with a die adjustment strike, you don't have full rims. This one has full rims. So it leads me to believe, it could still be a trial strike, sure. Someone out there who listens and sees this, is there anything I'm missing? But most of all, it could be one of other two things. It could just be a really major strike-through event with a lot of grease, like we're talking a ton of grease on those dies. Or it could be struck on a very thin planchet, like rolled thin, very thin planchet. And then die adjustment strike would be kind of like my third place on there, which it could be. I do see just a little softness in the rim, right where the kind of the date would be. You could tell that's not, as prominent there. But everywhere else on the coin has a full nice rim on there. So this one, selling for $88, and that's assuming that it is a die trial strike or a die adjustment strike. That's where it's going to be worth the money. But the other two cases, it's not quite there. So you just got to be careful with coins like this, that you're correctly diagnosing them, number one. Number two, you know what you're buying. Pretty simple. Next one that we have here, a pretty run-of-the-mill. We've seen this date in off-center strikes before on previous pocket change reports. 87p, okay? Now this one, and this is more of the naysayers out there saying that you can't really find these in circulation. Look at this thing; it's a proverbial beater. So this kind of helps change the narrative a little bit. That they can show up in rolls, they can show up in change. There's every conceivable avenue where this coin can't show up. All right, you could get it for dirt cheap at a coin shop or at a show. They might have them in like a bargain bin. You just never know. But please do understand, these have a pretty good market currently on eBay. This one is selling for $43.40, and that's probably more of a case of someone really needs this particular date, whether they're doing a date set or maybe it's just the date in general. I don't know. but it's a very, very top end kind of sale here. We usually see these right around 20-25 bucks. Some of the more common dates, but this one right here, not a beauty queen, and you guys need to know that. All right, sometimes we'll talk about the occasional early U.S. obsolete coin. How about a 2-cent shield? 1864 is the date on this one, with a few things that I like to look for. Now, this one here has, and by the way, the seller did an awesome job on the guide arrows here. Where you see the arrows on the obverse where the date is, strike through. It's pretty obvious. There was some grease, debris on the die. And now on the reverse, nice cud, pre-cud maybe, pre-cud die break. Cracks going through the word states, It doesn't quite look like it's a pre-cud because you don't see a secondary exit point of that crack. You just see the one there between T and A and states. But overall, this one managed to sell for 92 bucks. So, yeah, some folks prefer not to have this kind of like level of mint error on a very early type coin. But there are some that do appreciate it. So this one's selling very well. Otherwise, it would just be like maybe a $35, $40 coin without the mint errors. So, yeah, pretty good. Nice dime here. Shoot. This one is, they actually pegged it as a 1997. You could kind of see the date there a little bit. Struck through a late stage die cap. So there was another dime stuck to the head of the die where the obverse image is. And it never protruded out, So it stayed there stuck to the head of the die and it was striking up a bunch of other coins. Late stage indicates that die cap is very thin at that point, where you could see some of the punch through of the original design of the die going onto the new host coin there. This one, by the way, is selling for $35.92. I love these. They're just very consistent in today's market, and they do very well. We got a couple crazy paper money errors. We've talked about gutter folds before. Some of them not too impressive. Maybe one thin line of gutter or like a wrinkle in the subject sheet. This thing was crinkled up all on that left side of the sheet, which is just insane. You can see like just a bunch of different printings and breaks and all that stuff. I mean, you could stare at this for a good 5 minutes and really, really appreciate what happened here. Yeah, it's that whole left side accordioned up, and then was printed over and all that stuff. A BEP employee didn't see it, so it just went about its business. $1974 bill, by the way, a little bit older one here. And there's a reverse there for you. Yeah, you could just kind of like track all of the different folds that happen there on that side. It's just really, really remarkable. This would be the prototypical note that should be in a graded holder, but someone took the chance, sold it raw, did really good. This one selling for 510 doll hairs. That's a lot of doll hairs. Yeah, I mean, it was a buy it now too. So someone went in, added it to cart, checked it out, and they're getting, quite frankly, one of the craziest gutterfold errors I've ever seen on a paper money note. Speaking of crazy, I'm like, why aren't people grading these? And it's like, well, the notion is you don't have to grade all of it. Yeah, it's just, you know what you have, and you know it's going to command a full market. How about a raw original 37D Buffalo Nickel 3 legs? This one right here is really easy to diagnose. I mean, obviously that over a braided front leg. But if we're trying to make sure that it is legit, there's a few things to look out for. That kind of heavily deteriorated rear leg. Number one, the raised, what they call P-line. That's not what I call it, but that's what all the other, variety experts call it. Right under the buffalo's belly. It's like a circular, like half rainbow, raised pebbly surface on there. Those need to be on there. And then when you look at the obverse, you need to have that heavily deteriorated back of the neck of the Indian. And then right under the chin, jawline area is another spot for it too. with all things considered, I would be 100% safe buying this if I were looking for a three-legged buffalo, especially one that's raw. And this one is actually in very nice shape. Call it maybe AU 53, 55, somewhere around there. Kind of hard to say if this thing had a little rub or clean to it. That's something that we all kind of play in our mind. Is this thing details, cleaned, polished, whatever. It looks pretty good. The pictures are just extraordinarily good in this one, and it kind of makes you wonder. But with that comes a pretty big sale. This one, by the way, capturing $1,553.95. That's a lot of money to spend. That's AU money, by the way, on a coin like this. So you need to make sure that you're getting good quality and you're not sacrificing, because when the money gets pretty big and crazy, you want to make sure that it's working out for you. By the way, we got some more heavy hitters. This one right here, Great Southern Coin, just has some really nice stuff. 1819 over 8 overdate cap bust $50. This one I've owned a couple of, and I'm going to tell you this right now. This is a really neat overdate, and it's not particularly rare. There are other dates of cap bust halves. I think the 1825 over 6 is a rare one, and there's a couple other ones. The 1822 over 21 is quite common. So there's a few overdates that if you're looking to get something really neat, that would really help define your collection. Buying a couple like this one here, the 22 over 21 overdate, would be another good one to get as well. So in this particular case, this one right here looks to be about a VF30 kind of ish coin. Looks like it's been cleaned, which most of them have. At some point, they just have like a glossier surface than what they're supposed to. But this one right here, you could see the botched up 9 where there was an underlying 8 right under there. Pretty cool. I love these. It's always a good idea to buy one graded, if you're looking for that nice collectible caliber coin. But this one right here, doing very well. $380 with 33 bids. So ain't hating that right there. That's the market for it. And Great Southern Coin with another one out there. Always a cool find right here. The 2021 Philly K3 to K7 routine cut die break with a massive die break, chunky bit right there, right by the date. This one is still out there, ladies and gentlemen. A pretty easy money maker. This one is actually in really nice shape too. This one's selling for $167.65 with 17 bids. This is one of the more surprising ones of the day. 1967 Roosevelt dime with a nice size curved clip on there. Coin's in good shape, probably like a high-end AU. The luster is apparent, but it does show some high wear. $34.25 with 12 bids. Yeah, dimes coming back with a vengeance. The redesign for 2026 is imminent, and folks are kind of like joining the bandwagon. They're kind of getting back into Roosevelt dimes. That might slow down here. Well, we'll see how next year shapes up, and 2027. People are thinking redesign, but I haven't heard anything about it. This is a neat one here, folks. If you ever find this one, keep in mind there's 2 different mintmark sizes or type styles. This is the 1941S with the large S punch right on there. And this one is in phenomenal shape. Nice minty BU coin. When we look up close there at the mintmark, this one is the much larger S. And also keep in mind there is a very notable RPM for the large S mintmark, which is very pricey, hundreds of dollars. This one right here, no slouch by itself. It's a cherry picker's guide variety too, FS 501. This one's selling for $67.45. Sold by one of the big variety guys out there. Brian Rybar continues to issue some really nice varieties in today's market. A PCMR with two Franklin half dollars? Say it ain't so. But we have this 1951 polished turd example, but we can't dispute the lamination. Nice size lamination on the obverse there, by the way. Yeah, I mean that's what we have here on this one. Double check your scrap silver because you might end up finding one of these bad boys in there. $27.65, 6 bids. Not a whole lot of money made here considering melt is just over $20. So maybe a buck or two in profit. Here's a pretty neat one, $1995 bill, massive misalignment of the print on the front. You can see that is apparent. Some would say, oh, that's miscut. Yeah, well, if it's miscut, so would the back. And it's not. It's almost centered, just slightly leaning over to the right a little bit more. But yeah, this thing is a beater, man. This thing has been around the block, and some would say, well, is it even worth selling in this condition? Sure, it is, because there are folks that are looking for lower grade examples, whereas they can't afford to spend maybe $100, $200 on a nice one. This one, by the way, selling for $42.15, 13 total bids, 42 times face value. I would take that all day long, folks. And we're off to the last couple coins here. Again, we're living in a crazy world where you could just willy-nilly throw up an FS 101 1955 doubled die obverse Lincoln wheat cent. And this thing is marvelous. It's a nice AU condition coin, AU brown, like a 55 maybe. And this one's legit. I've looked at a number of these over the years, have owned a couple of them over the years. And they have certain die markers, a little die scratch coming off the T of cent on the reverse and a few other things. And I've seen a lot of fakes of these, and they're polarizingly different. You could kind of tell the difference between the two. But yeah, this one popping up. We've talked about a few 55 DDOs in previous pocket change marker reports that were raw and legit. So they can be sold. You don't have to grade these. With the sold price of $2,025.49, 11 total bids here on this one. Good fair amount of activity. People that know what they're looking for and can tell the difference, the sentiment on these is still quite strong. And you don't have to spend the money. You're going to end up spending over $100 to grade this one singular coin because of value. And it might sell for less. If it comes back at 53 brown, it might do 1,800. So this one right here, great pictures, by the way, doing very well. And then the final coin of the week. Might I remind you that the 250th anniversary is coming up next year? And some of the more marquee Bicentennial coins of 1976 been gaining some attention. This bad boy showed up and showed out. Like it was on eBay for a moment, and then someone scooped it up in a buy it now. Rightfully so. This is a nice off-center struck Bicentennial quarter. It's a P mint too, which is cool. How about this? $279.99. That's good damn money right there. Considering that any other date, if we took like a 1977P, same mid-error and all that, that would be maybe a $30, $40 coin. And then you get to the Bicentennial, and because of its legend of what the type coin it is, it's huge. It's a huge game changer when you could find any mid-error on a Bicentennial coin. That's also including the half dollar and the Ike dollar as well. So keep that in mind. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to wrap things up for this edition of the Pocket Change Market Report. I am your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. And keep in mind, the information in this video is for educational use only, not financial advice. Please collect and or grade your coins responsibly. We are a few weeks away. I'm excited. I don't know what to expect. The market is just, it's on rocket fuel right now. And the explosion, it's just been insane. I'm glad to be a part of it, even though I'm a little salty in that, I can't find 2025 Lincoln cents anymore. It's okay. Some of you benefiting greatly from that, and I am glad. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Best of luck in your hunts, by the way, if you're still out there looking for Lincoln scents. And yeah, I'm going to try my best to find some for me. You guys take care, and thank you again for tuning in.